Welcome back to In the Oven with Adam and Brad.
What's up, y'all?
We just got back from Atlanta.
We did.
Hot Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Atlanta's an interesting city, you know?
It's grown so much, man. The good areas have moved around a bit. The bad areas have moved around a bit. So, yeah, it's very interesting.
We were at I forgot the name of the convention center.
Process. Or PAC Expo.
But I know what the convention center name
was.
Oh, the
World Congress Center.
World Congress Center. Yeah. And so it's right near the aquarium.
Yep.
So we got a hotel that was like walking distance from it, and like we walked to the hotel, and there's like sliding doors. We walk in the sliding doors, and there's another set of sliding doors, and they just like didn't open, and so we like knocked on it, and then they opened it for us.
They had to look at us.
Yeah, and literally you had to have a key to get in and out of the hotel itself. A key to get on to the elevator, like any of the floors.
Yeah. Which some of that's common in big cities, but I guess it's a little weird to need a hotel key in like peak check-in to your hotel room time.
Right.
Normally they at least let you come in before I don't know.
Yeah, you feel like
I've never been kicked out of a hotel, but I'm guessing if you don't have any business in there, they at least let you come in and say, hey, okay, now you have to leave.
Yeah. So
Wait to knock.
I think it was like 3, literally check-in was at 3, and I think it was like 3:15, and we walked in and we were like, hey, can you let us in?
Help us.
But no, we saw some really cool automation, robotics type stuff. Met with a lot of different, I guess, engineers or salespeople on things.
It's overwhelming. Yeah. I mean, so like anything and everything that might otherwise go in a package or a box or whatever. Now, this is like a small Southeast show, but they had representation there. So like, we're still fairly new to all this stuff, especially on the industrialized size of it all. So they're like, do you need this, or this? And you're like, I don't even know what that means. And they show you videos. You're like, oh, okay, I can understand how that would work with my product or whatever.
Yeah.
So we met with everybody. The show's still going on today. So I think we've got today to breathe before Josh and I just emails get blown up with everybody we met.
Or next week. Yeah, I
maybe.
think a lot of people said like, you'll be seeing an email from us by next week type thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they would always essentially you have a QR code on your badge, and they would scan that, and that essentially gave them all your emails and stuff so that they could contact you. And they would go scan my badge and be like, don't scan my badge. Yeah. I don't want you to email me.
Well, and so the way it works is like the bigger companies, obviously the more expensive, equipment, they've taken like the uniqueness of products and figured out the problems, but then they charge way up here. And then there's other folks that are like, we make pistons. You can hire an engineer to build your own product. And obviously they're down here in price. And so we have to figure out what our skill sets, time, effort, focus, and everything, where we can land in the middle to solve all our different unique, but we did find some cool robots.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was going to say is like robotics has come a long way, obviously with AI. I think that a lot of people, we got to see firsthand. I think we got a quote about a year ago on some like robotic stuff, and it was like over $1 million. And then at this expo we went to, had 2 robots. One robot that used a photo eye to like pick your product and then place it into a box, and it knew orientation, like everything, right? Your products could be like scattered, could be different orientation. It knew how to grab them and put them in the box. And then another robot that, once that box got done, because it would get closed up and everything, would grab that closed up box and then put it on a pallet. And again, it can orient it on a pallet however you needed to. And all in all, it was like under $300,000 for that. So like we saw the price literally go down like 70%. Again, this was probably like one of the less expensive companies. But still, one of the more expensive companies there at the show kind of quoted us somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000 for that same process. So, like, we've already seen the AI with robotics has like.
Can you
dropped
imagine
the
though?
price.
By the time we got the machine, because of lead times and everything else,
it
would have dropped 50% minimum.
Yeah, probably.
It's like, oh, that'd be so frustrating.
I mean, it's probably going to.
I don't even want to talk about what we found in China.
Oh yeah, and then I think that what we're seeing now in the clothing industry, with people like Shein, and then things like Temu, and I think Amazon's doing something called like Amazon Basics or Amazon.
It's not their basics, but they have like a
warehouse. Amazon.
They have
something
a Temu.
like that.
Yeah.
They have like their own version where like you can order stuff on there, and it takes a lot longer to get, and it's not real. Amazon's not really like backing it with any kind of thing. There's kind of like, good luck, I think that you're seeing that obviously in like that kind of, I don't know, CPG and I don't know, random clothing type of space. But now we're starting to see it on the machinery side as well. There were some vendors there from China, and they were literally like, yeah, this is our machine. And I was like, yeah, we have a machine just like that. And we paid a lot of money for it. And then they told me the price of their machine, and I was like, wanted to cry, honestly.
Yeah, that's a big part of like, so global, you know, when you talk about manufacturing, especially at the global scale, you know, most clothes are made in a handful of countries. Well, most machines, these big machines, are made in even less countries. And so just because it has somebody else's name and stickers all over the thing and has their nice little paint job, there's only a handful of manufacturers make it. And so when you can find the actual OEM person, you realize, oh, wow, that's how they mark it up a ton.
Well, I mean, the truth is, if you go to these expos, you realize why they mark it up a ton. They have to make a ton of money. I mean, they're paying a lot of money to be at this expo. There's, you know, some of these booths that we went to, they had like 5 robots operating at this booth, which, you know, shipping that, getting that all set up, engineering, all that kind of stuff, super expensive. One booth we went to, the ProMock booth, they literally had like food out for everyone. Didn't matter if you were talking to them or not. It's like they had like,
come by the booth.
Yeah, they had like these like
bao buns.
Yeah, bao buns and jalapeno
empanadas
stuff. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So
we stopped by.
Yeah, we got some food.
That's right.
But you know, I think when you see all that, a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's so cool." It's just like I look at that and I go, "Oh man, no wonder their stuff is so expensive because I'm paying for this."
That's where my 50 G's went.
Yeah,
right there. Everybody's lunch.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, cool, novel, get people to your booth, but at the same time, it's just like someone's paying for that.
Well, yeah, and it's a weird time, right? So, like, I mean, we've experienced it with the growth of our company and the sales of our cookies, but like, there's a passing of the guard. It's occurring later and later in manufacturing because there's so many like older folks just staying in their jobs, right? Boomers kind of not retiring and just hanging in there, but their kids are with them, and their kids are now in their like their 30s and stuff, like kind of ready and primed to take over these companies. And so you've kind of got that, I would say, like just real old school. A lot of these salesmen remind you of like a car salesman or something like that. They want you to come in, have the little food and da-da-da-da-da. Whereas, you know, the world's become so global and time is precious that it's just like, dude, I don't want to come sit here and chit chat with you, man. Give me a price sheet, give me a spec sheet, and I'm going to run this around the world, you know? And so it's weird to like, to them, a lot of our, you know, we've even got sales guys we talked to today where they're like, okay, like they're just used to going like, yo, get me another part or piece of equipment or whatever. And they're not being any real shopping. Again, with AI, with just tech in general, things talk to each other a lot easier now. So it's a weird time.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of these companies flourish because there weren't these expos and shows and the world wasn't so connected. So a lot of them are like kind of like distributors. So they're like, you call them, you're like, this is what I need. And then they go around and shop around for you. Right. And then they take, you know, their little cut on the top of.
It's kind of weird when you think about it. Like, I mean, I understand why they've always done it this way, this one way, but like you would think the different organizations would only have like one flow wrapper.
Yeah.
And like one palletizer and like one box. I know it would make for a small show, ridiculously small. So I don't know how you even do it. But like when you put all the flow wrapper people there side by side and you can run around, meet them all, look at their machinery, look at what they do. They all, you know, yeah, you can really grill these people, right? You know, and it works out for the customer for sure. I mean, I understand, but as the manufacturers, they pay so much money to be there.
Yeah.
And like some guy with no real booth with the right price can just crush you.
Right.
So,
yeah. And I mean, honestly, one of the smallest booths that was there, it was just like right off the entrance, kind of like tucked away to the right a little bit, was one of the ones that we ended up talking to the most about like flow wrapping and stuff like that.
I like there's a lot. I want to see what the company we got with the robot does, but I like theirs the best, I think.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there's so much, there's so much out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much out there. And so, yeah, if you have a business right now and you were trying to automate stuff, I would highly recommend going to any of these, you know, Pack Expo if it's for the packaging side of things, or Process Expo if it's for like the process of like making your product, like a food product specifically. I think there's a show called Magic. That's for like sourcing clothes. That's what we went to with it, you know, and you can meet like suppliers from China, from India, from like Pakistan, like all these places, and source clothing that way.
Yeah.
But the world is just becoming like where you don't even have to go to these expos anymore. Like you can just find it on the internet and then talk to them, use WhatsApp and all these places. So yeah, I mean, there's really no excuse for having like a hurdle that you can't overcome nowadays. I mean, it's just like, put in perspective, I'm reading Phil Knight's like memoir, Shoe Dog, about him starting Nike. And like, he literally flew to Japan to meet with the first shoe manufacturers that he had and like gave them a pitch about how he was going to, like he wanted to sell their shoes in the US. And they essentially gave him like the Western territories. And then someone else is like, no, I own the States. And he couldn't get a hold of him and he had to fly back to Japan to talk to them.
Yep.
Like, bro, we live in a world where like you can literally get on FaceTime with somebody. And
would he fly to Japan for like $50?
Yeah, he did. He flew to Hawaii for like $80, I think it was. But still, I mean, the point is though, it's like the hurdles that he had to jump through in order to like do.
Oh
this
yeah, man, I can't imagine
higher.
when you had to like bust out a phone book or like what. I don't even know. Order a Japanese phone book or something. Like, how did you even get numbers back then? They
put out like flyers in like running magazines or something like that to like get people to know their shoes, and like he hung some around. He really grassrootsed it through track and field because he was a track runner at Oregon. Right. So I haven't gotten very far in the book, but I do know that like he was a 51% owner and his track coach was 49% owner.
Nice.
That's really all I mean, I don't know how that all shakes out later. Yeah. But
Nike blew up in the 80s with jogging. That became like a craze. Apparently people didn't do that before.
Yeah. But he started it in 62 or 63.
I know. Yeah. They started before UGG.
You know what their biggest competitor at the time, I mean, like the shoe brand they were competing against was? Adidas.
Nice.
Yep. And he poached one of Adidas' salesmen because he knew him from like college or something. So yeah.
Yeah, that brand kind of fell apart.
Adidas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, they were big in the soccer world for a while. You know, it's really about being in the limelight. And honestly, what made Nike was, I mean, the running, the jogging craze, but I mean, it was Michael Jordan.
Yeah. No,
it
really
really was.
Yeah. And the Just Do It.
Yeah.
Really took the brand to another level.
Right. Yeah. Good slogan.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, I think Reebok made a resurgence through CrossFit.
They did.
Now
they tried.
Kind of like, I don't really see much on
that. I mean, they tried.
Is Reebok, I mean, they're still around, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they're still around. I think that's kind of like a soon to be owned possibly by Walmart brand. Walmart's really expanding. Like they bought like, I think Chaps and like brands you saw that were like maybe Kohl's brands or whatever before, but at some point were maybe like a Dillard's brand. Yeah. But they've kind of fallen down. I think they'll kind of go that way. I know that RBX brand, I think I've seen, which like looks like kind of like Reebok clones. Okay. Adidas was popular with Kanye, man. He gave them the ability to sell multi-$100 shoes. And then when he left, dude, they can't even give those Yeezys away. Yeah. Which is crazy.
Well, also, I mean, he just became so unhinged that like sometimes you're like, yeah, I think Kanye, he says some things that are like pretty valid. And then sometimes you're like, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
Like, so he's just kind of like off the rocker altogether. And then, you know, now you have just like other shoe brands like kind of coming out of nowhere. Right. I remember when On Running or On, you know, no lie, they sent Aubrey 2 pairs way back in the day.
Oh yeah,
because I think they're a Canadian company, and they were like, "We're trying to get into the U.S. market. Like, we'd love for you to wear them." And Aubrey liked them; she wore them, but like, they're not what they were today. They are not what they are today. Just like Nike wasn't what it, you know. So
I remember getting sent the first like No Bulls and stuff like that to wear, and like they were just. Okay, they were kind of ugly. I didn't really like them. That wasn't a brand that I was used to.
They're just a training shoe. I don't think they're really going to bet. Like they're. I don't think.
But there were no boutique shoe manufacturers before, and now
you can do it.
Yeah, man. There's so many manufacturers that will white label you a shoe, custom design you a shoe. Yeah. Technology is so cheap. If you want blow molded foam for soles, no problem. If you want I mean, it's so available.
Yeah,
and you can meet all these people at expos.
Yeah, the real thing you just need to do is like, what problem are you solving? Because I feel like you do need to solve some kind of problem with anything. You know, for us, I feel like I was solving the problem of like chocolate chip cookie dough and sugar cookie dough are pretty much like what you can find at the grocery store. And same thing with like cookie dough bites. It's like chocolate chip or sugar cookie.
Yep.
I'm trying to bring like more creative.
Yeah, and I'll take it a step
flavor
further,
stuff.
man. There's no real other that I know of luxury baked dessert experience at the grocery store. Not one that, you know, we're working through some process and stuff. Not one that in 10, 15 minutes, man, you can have a very hot, fresh. I mean, the pies are old and tired. Nobody's doing anything crazy there. Yeah, there's some fun ice cream flavors. And I like ice cream, but like ice cream a lot of times like a side item to the main course of whatever the dessert experience is, you know, because everything goes good with a scoop of ice cream on it. But like, yeah, so there's nobody really doing what we're doing. And then on the bite side, there's nothing there.
The only reason that I'm not like, I would never pick ice cream to be my thing, and that's why I like Froyo, is because like I want stuff in my ice cream, right? And so it's like, you know what? Like instead of having an apple pie and some ice cream, like put the whole apple pie in that ice cream. Yeah. Because I want to feel like I'm eating apple pie with ice cream. Yep. And I don't think a lot of people like their ice cream that way, or maybe they just
like a 50-50.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I want. Yeah. I mean, I literally want ice cream to be like, you know, minimum 30% of the mixture, maximum like 60% of the mixture. I want somewhere around 50%.
Definitely some good inclusions in there.
Yeah, and that's why I used to love Ben & Jerry's so much, but I feel like they've gone down a lot on their inclusions.
Yep.
And so, and then that's my problem with just like, you know, Jenny's and all those other people. It's like they'll have really great flavors. I'm like, oh, I love this idea, and then it's just like, it's so faint. You know, it's like it'd be like buying a strawberry soda, right? Yep. And then taking a sip of it and be like, would they make this with a hint of strawberry? Like, I want to taste the strawberry. Yeah. Oh, LaCroix. That's why I think LaCroix is trash. It's literally like they like took a strawberry and they like dipped it in it.
They like listened to a strawberry with the water.
Yeah. So it's like, no, like
hint of strawberry.
Yeah. Like if it's watermelon flavor, they took a watermelon seed and they popped it in there, you know? It's like, no, I want it to be like,
oh yeah.
You know?
Full flavor.
So yeah, but yeah, we're doing it.
I know.
So, but the expo was good. Like I said, I think we found some really cool stuff. Yeah,
good trip. Yeah.
And we had all you can eat Korean barbecue.
Oh man, that was so good.
So yeah. All right, so we're jumping this. Should we get rid of the penny? I'm gonna say yes. So.
President Trump is ordering to stop making pennies. He says it costs 2 cents to make every 1 cent.
It takes 3 cents now to make your average penny. The U.S. lost about $20 million making pennies. Because think about it, it's not just that we're spending those 3 cents. What do you do with a penny when you get it? You take it home, you stick it in your piggy bank, you put it in a jar. It's not like you're recirculating it. So then when grocery stores run out of pennies to give you, what do? They ask the mint for more pennies, and we're continually making these 3-cent pieces.
What most people
sounds like a sweet contract.
Over 12 cents to make a nickel. At 10 cents, when you make a dime, it costs less to make the dime than the dime is worth. Same with a quarter. So anything below that, we just gotta get rid of it. I don't think there's anybody out there who wants to save the penny. Canada did it a long time ago. They're just fine. We gotta get rid of the penny as well, and the nickel while we're at it, because the nickel costs 12.3 cents to make. So why are we spending 12.3 cents to make 5 cents? That doesn't make any sense.
So I agree with that. And so this is what I'm going to say to do. Get rid of the penny, take the penny mold and stuff, and now make that your 5 cent piece, because it only takes 3 cents to make it.
Sure.
Then get rid of then get rid of the nickel, right?
Yep.
Dimes, I think, take like 8 cents to make, so just keep those in circulation. So essentially, everything would have to be rounded to the nearest, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I would just wonder, like, what the actual usage rate of coins are. I know you need change back. I know all that, yada, yada. But, like, if it costs 8 cents to make a dime, like, how much does it cost to destroy the dime when you're done? How much does it cost? It seems like like you just stick to dollars. How much does it cost to make $1?
I don't know. But like rounding wise, don't you think that like at some point, like if you bought something and it was literally,
well, you know how I feel about the Fed and all that.
Well, but I mean, said something was $1.02. Like you really want to hand them a $2 bill for that? That's kind of what it is.
I don't think anything costs $1.02 anymore. But yeah, how much does it say it costs? The least expensive are 1 and 2, like 3.2 cents to make $1 bill.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, then why don't we just make bills?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, some kind of like just like paper if you lose it, whatever. It's not like.
Well, I think there's a lot of. I know that. I mean, I know I'm gonna mess this up. The loony and the toonie or whatever for the Canadian things for like dollars or like coins and stuff. But like that doesn't make sense because knowing that bills are only 3.2. So it's just like you should just make a 5-cent bill.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like we would have that.
Actually, yeah. What's the point in even having change?
Or have just like a digital, here's your change back digitally. Like, sorry, we're just not doing it anymore. It's too expensive. Trucking it all around. It's got to suck. You got to put them through counters.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know when the last time I carried change with me, period.
Right. Like growing up, my mom, my aunt, whatever, they always had like a little change purse. And they used it because like things would be like, and I guess they still are an amount of cents, but nobody hardly uses cash anymore anyways.
Right.
And like, it just see somebody out there counting pennies and stuff. And like people behind you are going to be like, oh my God, I'm too busy for this.
Yeah. I mean, when you see the older
somebody
lady,
was writing a check the other day and it was taking forever, man. And
it's not just that because at like a grocery store, if you write a check, they have to like put your ID in there and do like all this stuff. It's just like, oh, bro.
Yeah. Come on.
But no, I mean, I get it because a check is really like, maybe it's in my bank, maybe it's not. Here's my voucher. I'm going to walk out with it.
Yeah, that was crazy. We did all that stuff for a while.
It is pretty wild, the whole idea of a check. Like,
or even a credit card back in the day.
It's almost like an IOU, and maybe it's in my bank.
No, think about it. Like when we were younger, the credit card thing was like that. We just took a copy of your credit card.
Yeah.
They'd have to call it in only if you looked some type of way that made them want to call the number on the back of each credit card and see if you had a balance.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you just get like one's in the mail and they're like, here you go.
Right.
Crazy.
There's a lot more trust, I think, back then. Well, and then people started abusing the system and then everything.
Yeah, dude, like more people scam now? I feel like they do.
Oh, 100%. Do you remember the Chase thing?
Yeah.
Where people would like write a fake check, deposit it into the account, and then try to withdraw a lot of money out?
At what point did society, I mean, because I don't do any of that mess. I know you don't either. Like, at what point does society just be like, oh, it's fine? Like,
well, the reason that Chase Bank thing happened is because of social media. So I think it's like the moment that people could get on their hill with the megaphone and be like, look at this thing I'm doing.
External validation from people that don't matter. Because like your family should be like, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Like the Cantrells don't do that.
Yeah, we don't steal.
We don't steal. We don't do like dumb stuff like that. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should get rid of the penny, the nickel, probably all the coins.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know anyone that actually uses that. I mean, most people will hand you $5 and then you hand them back change, and they're like, you know what? Honestly,
most cashiers
where most of my
have
change
a hard
goes?
time counting change.
No, you know where most of my change goes?
What?
Into a tip jar.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want this. You know, like I don't want to carry this around.
Yep.
You know, I think I have like, it may be here. I think I have like an old absinthe bottle that I got like in another country that's like full of change. And then I have, you can't even take change to a bank.
Right.
They're like, roll it. I'm like,
right.
You roll it.
Yeah.
You're the bank.
Yeah. Nope.
Like what? So that's another issue. Like you should be able to take all your change to the bank and be like, here's my change. Like I would like cash back for this to put it back into circulation. But they're like, no. You have to like, there's a whole business model. Those coin stars are based around.
They take a piece. Yeah.
Based around the fact that change is so impractical. So
very.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's get rid of all change. But I don't want you to round my total up.
No.
Don't you get greedy.
It's a charity scam.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're collecting and donating on their own behalf.
Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. This one. I can't wait for you to see this.
They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
What?
The memory erasure. They erase my memories. It's a little foggy, but...
If you could remember, struggle, tell me. Give me a date. Give me a date.
You know what? I'll have to go back to the clinic and see if they can restore my memory.
Is it going to be soon? Because the fans want to know, Ariana.
So soon? So, Mark, you have to learn the language of my fans because soon means 10 days or less. I'm not allowed to use that word at this moment.
I don't know, man. I feel bad for that girl. I feel bad for all those folks that were in the Nickelodeon kind of train. Because I think,
I mean, how do you feel about the Brighter Days? I haven't looked up this Brighter Days clinic to see if like it's a real thing.
I don't know.
But like memory erasing.
I think a lot of those folks go through a lot of trauma as kids, and then a lot of either prescribed or unprescribed drugs. Yeah, here you go. Brighter Days Clinic, transforming minds through cognitive recalibration, subconscious reprogramming, break free from limiting beliefs, and embrace your evolution with us. That's a no for me, dog.
Click on services. I want to see what
That's
services,
a full-on no.
See what kind of services we got. Cognitive timeline experience, profound shifts in perception, emotional healing with an innovative timeline therapy approach. Cognitive recalibration. Put this in the sheet so that he can like see this stuff when we're going through it. Break from outdated mental patterns and embrace clarity.
Andy, scroll down real quick. Thinking kills your happiness.
Yeah, keep going.
So this is a big picture on the screen.
Keep going down.
Thinking kills your happiness.
Keep going. Timeline therapy, cognitive recalibration.
Think like a pancreas.
Keep going. Let's see. What we got? Emotional loops, subconscious reprogramming. Oh, this is wild. Yeah. Yeah. We should call him up and be like, hey, you do that memory erase? I bet you they got so many phone calls after that video.
I bet they did too, man. So who knows? But the amount of handling that goes on at the high level with these people, they get recommended mental health therapists or counselors. They get recommended doctors, clinicians that put them on drugs that they don't understand. They get, I think even a lot of the fitness professionals that are around them are in on it. They'll work with their doctors to prescribe things to help their bodies get in extremely different shapes overnight. I mean, Hollywood used to be that kind of perpetual arm to like, what you want to call it, virtue signal or do whatever. And I mean, like, I think they're all puppeted anyways. But with her specifically, man, like, have you heard about any of the stuff that went on in Nickelodeon when she was...
Well, I just know that she's like vastly different than she was just even a few years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that like through the Wicked thing, she changed. Like,
I mean, I really think it's just a lot of trauma as a kid. And then I think these folks are, I don't know that they're doing recreational drugs. They probably are, who knows? But I think they're pumped full of things. I think they take, I mean, just the amount of regular people I know that are like, oh, my doctor has on this. And they're like, what does that do? Like, I don't really know.
Right.
You're supposed to take it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so like celebrities that like have all these like world-class whoever's around them and like, oh, I'm just taking this to lose weight, or, oh, I'm just taking this to blah, blah, blah. It's like, what else does it do? And like, they don't seem to ever care.
Well, people put a lot of trust in those people that are placed around them because they think they're placed around them.
Well, even look at like the male actors that get into like, they get jacked.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously they're taking performance enhancers. Obviously they're taking, but when you hear them talk, it doesn't sound like they have a clue what they did.
Yeah.
Like they're intentionally telling you, I didn't put a syringe in my butt or anything like that. But like, they're like, yeah, I ate a lot of beef.
Yeah.
You're like, what? You ate a lot of everything.
Well, they'll be like, yeah, I had to eat 6 times a day. And I'm like, you don't really, I mean, okay, but you don't have to eat 6 times a day to like get the
You
same
just
results.
hear these most like super generic things that are like,
work really hard, eat a lot of protein, super clean diet, I worked out twice a day, cardio.
But they don't really, they don't seem to have a big understanding.
Right.
So like, I don't think, memory erasure program. That's definitely a no for me.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting because based on really how people have talked about like she just has changed a lot. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not saying the change is good or bad. I don't really know. I mean, I don't follow this stuff that much, but even I showed that video to Aubrey and she goes, yeah, well, Ariana Grande has definitely changed a lot in the last few years.
Yeah, there's people that are, I don't know whether it's trauma related or not, but yeah, she does seem to blend in with whomever group she seems to be spending a lot of time with. So whether that be through her music stuff, through her acting stuff, through whatever, she picks up accents quickly. She picks up things very quickly. Madonna did that. Britney Spears got a little crazy for a while. I think maybe she still is. I'm not sure. Yeah. But a lot of that stuff, man, you get too famous, too young, and you're not protected.
Well, the Britney Spears stuff is really weird because you see these like conservativeships and you see the people that are like literally controlling their money and their lives by being able to hold them in these conservatorships by making them out to be crazy. And then you're like, are they actually crazy, or are you like giving them drugs to make sure they are crazy? You know?
Definitely that. But also when there's a huge sum of money behind it, like at some point you're allowed to be crazy, at least a little crazy. Like you can have weird beliefs, you can have weird thoughts, you can have weird, you're allowed to be free. Yeah. You're allowed to blow all your money if you want to. It's yours, you worked for it. I don't understand why at any point somebody else gets to be like, no, it's best that they stay rich, but locked up in a house, so I get a bunch of money because of it. Right. Like when that comes into it, I just don't like it. It's icky. Now imagine though your kids, something like happens. I don't know. I would just be a good parent. So like you would never have to worry about anything. I would, if they were crazy, going to hurt themselves or something.
Right. That's what I feel like. If someone's going to hurt themselves or other people, then maybe you need to step in. But other than that, just like,
I'm a weirdo kid. You know how they are. Yeah. Is what it is. Love them.
Yeah. Oh, this one is your boy Ryan Fish. Ready?
What's up, dog?
This is how you know how much fruit you're eating. Instead of a spoon, get your own little cup. 1 cup of blueberries. Boom.
This is not content, man. What?
2 cups of blueberries.
Wow. We moved away from cherries,
I know exactly how many calories I'm eating. It's literally that. It's that easy. You just need to measure it, but you don't need to make measuring hard. It's easy. You just have something like this. If you eat a pound of meat, like I just ate a pound, and it was just a pound. I don't have to measure it. It's in the pound block. And then this, and I'm good. Life is easy. Everybody makes this shit seem hard. It doesn't have to be hard. You make it. You make this shit hard.
So him and Hormozy used to hang out a bunch, so that's Hormozy advice.
So for me, what's so funny about it is like you could also use a spoon because you could just put your bowl on a scale and you could weigh out how much you have. And actually,
pro tip: use a scale.
The scale is way more accurate because
it's easy.
He said, "I know exactly how many calories I'm eating." I'm like, actually, you really don't.
No,
you don't.
Not exactly.
Yeah,
not if we're gonna use those words. Yeah, I agree with you, man. 1, scale's super easy, and 2 cups of blueberries, man. Like nobody's gaining weight on 2 cups of blueberries. Oh, you ate 2.5 cups of blueberries. His last advice, if you guys didn't see, was just eat frozen cherries because they're equal to ice cream. They taste the same. They're as good and everything else.
Yeah, so, which is terrible. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like at some point like he's just trolling now, or maybe he's being serious. Here, I will tell you that there are people I know that have gotten really, really rich off of macro-friendly cookbooks, and they're like, here's how to make the most macro-friendly burger.
Yep.
Use 96 4-ground beef, use fat-free Kraft singles, use low-fat mayo, as your condiments, and it's just like, you're like, yeah, duh. Yeah. But then people are like, oh my gosh, this is such good.
No, I get that. There are levels to everything, and I always kind of forget, because like whoever his viewership is or his, fan base is. But like that falls into like nonsensical advice. Like you didn't tell anybody where to get a measuring cup from. You didn't really tell them like anything other than like, use this cup, 1 cup, and it's 1 cup. And like, cool, man. How much is a cup of blueberries in calories? Why did you eat a pound of meat and 2 cups of blueberries? Like, what world is that balanced?
Also like just use a scale too though. Like you literally could have taken that bowl of blueberries and like dumped it into you could have put the scale with that big bowl of blueberries on it, zeroed it out, and then pulled your blueberries off and then negative.
Well, short of cooking for my family and stuff, I probably eat a lot more the way he eats, so I'm not hating on it. I can go like full robot mode and eat just like meat and some blueberries, and that's a meal. It's fine.
Your breakfast at the hotel was like just eggs and
hard-boiled eggs and blueberries.
Yeah.
But like, I don't really fully know where I was going with that, other than
it wasn't.
No, he said that. He said people are making it harder than they have to. Boom, so easy. I ate a 1 pound block of meat and 2 cups of blueberries. I would venture to say that most people would have a very difficult time thinking that was a fulfilling life, just eating a 1 pound block of meat and 2 cups of blueberries.
Yeah.
So like, they're not making it more difficult than they have to. They're probably just making it tolerable for where they are at in their fitness. Again, I'm just trying to quantify, like, what is your advice? It's sort of just like makes fun of somebody who doesn't know how to use a scale or use a measuring cup. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that a lot of these people too, act like everyone needs to be as extreme as them.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Ryan Fisher, you were a competitive CrossFit athlete, and you live and breathe that world. And I mean, from what I've seen, he is a little vain. I think he's talked about like, I have a six pack, and
I've heard some stuff through the grapevine about him, but I don't have anything personal to say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of fires up my longtime coach. I was coach for a long time, and so like, sort of like, who are you talking to? Are you talking to the novice that doesn't need to be talked to that way? Like, they need encouragement, support, and whatever. And if you are a coach and you fancy yourself a coach, you don't need to dog those people. Everybody else knows that stuff. Right. So like, I don't know.
I literally think it's just like rage bait.
Yeah, it's like, look at me.
Yeah.
Look how disciplined I am.
Yeah. Well, that 2 cups of blueberries probably tastes like ice cream. So.
They're better.
All right. This story is great. I sent this.
If you live in the United States, you might have remembered seeing the Zoomcopter toy kiosks in malls all across America in the early 2000s. Here's a video of one. If you're in your 20s or 30s, you might have remembered seeing these guys as a kid. They always tended to have a thick Israeli accent, and they let it fly up. What you might not know is that the Zoomcopter kiosks, especially in malls on the East Coast around 9/11, were actually front companies for Israeli intelligence gathering operations.
I know another one too.
Fox News actually did a 4-part investigation on this in the early 2000s. They ended up taking it down, but I'm going to play a clip of it in a second. This is a declassified FBI document of the report as well. Numerous classified documents by Fox News indicate that even prior to September 11th, as many as 140 other Israelis had been detained or arrested in a secretive and sprawling investigation into suspected espionage by Israelis in the United States.
Another part of the investigation has resulted in the detention and arrests of dozens of Israelis at American mall kiosks, where they've been selling toys called Puzzle Car and Zoomcopter. Investigators suspect a front. Shortly after the New York Times and Washington Post reported the Israeli detentions last month, the carts began vanishing. Zoomcopter's webpage says, "We are aware of the situation caused by thousands of mall carts being closed at the last minute. This in no way reflects the quality of the toy or its saleability. The problem lies in the operator's business policies."
Documents say they targeted and penetrated military bases, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, dozens of government facilities, and even secret offices and unlisted private homes of law enforcement and intelligence personnel.
The majority of those questioned, quote, stated they served in military intelligence, electronic surveillance intercept, and/or explosive ordnance units.
General Accounting Office investigation referred to Israel as Country A and said, according to U.S. intelligence agency, the government of Country A conducts the most aggressive espionage operation against the U.S. of any U.S. ally. Pretty crazy stuff. If you find this interesting and you want to see more investigation.
Yeah, that is crazy. There's another company.
So do you think they were putting like cameras in there?
No,
or?
I don't. I don't really think that.
Like,
I think it was probably just to get them here, get them cover stories.
I know, but like when they were selling them, they, like he was saying, they infiltrated these places. Is he saying that like they sold them to police officers and things like that, and then were able to find their identities and their home addresses?
I think so. They probably had some kind of tracking. GPS would have been available, but like even bugging.
Well, I'm saying when you bought it with a credit card back then, they
true.
may have put down so much information about you that now they're able to like cross-reference it, be like, oh, this is an FBI agent.
Yeah.
This is his house or whatever, you know?
I know that there was like a mineral salt company that used tons of Israeli labor. I know a girl, they kind of do the thing where they like flirt with you and like get you over there. And I was young, whatever. I was talking to this girl and she said, I'm from Israel. They bring us over here. We can work these jobs. They move us around a ton to different like cities all over the place. She didn't say what she did. She didn't say she was a spy, but like you have to do military time there. Like, so if you're over a certain age, you are ex-military of some kind.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting how they get these kind of, whether they're front companies or not, or whether they're just, I don't know. It's interesting, but
just like what kind of intelligence are they collecting though in the mall?
Yeah, you never know. I know, you never know.
It is a pretty wild though to think about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, right.
This may be the worst one that I've seen yet. Ruffles, cheddar sour cream, $2.69 straight from the factory, okay? 2.25 ounces.
Yeah, we're charging not
which
enough.
would mean
Nope. Yep. We
that's
need to raise the
over
prices.
$16 a pound, or exactly the same price as a ribeye steak.
That's why I
here
eat
in
so much
town.
steak, man.
$15.99, maybe $16.99 for a pound of ribeye. $2.69.
Those are fire, though.
2.25 ounces. That's 2.2.
The little ruffles, boy.
That's roughly
Got that good
between
crunch.
$17 and $18 for a pound of a quarter of a fucking potato.
So my thing is, when I see stuff like that, I'm kind of like, I'm just gonna start making my own potato chips.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. I do at the house. It's very easy. I mean, potatoes are cheap.
Yeah.
I don't want all the other stuff that's in it, and since I can make them, it takes 2 seconds. I mean, even if you fry them, we usually make them in the air fryer on the oven, and it's
But I mean,
enjoyable.
I bet you could make your own flavoring for it pretty easily too.
just
You
mix
could
up
buy
some
like
spices.
Yeah,
and just add whatever you like in your cabinet together and dust them right when they come out.
You can buy like ranch seasoning too.
Yeah, I mean, that got on my radar when 20 ounces of water, it's like $2, and you like gasoline is like $3 a gallon, and you're like, I can drive around on town all day, for this. But
I never thought about that. What are some other things that we're paying way too much for by the volume?
Water, man, water
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure, water. Yeah,
water.
definitely.
Any drink. I mean, like when you think about like what's in a tea or like a soda.
Yeah.
There's like, again, it's still like 90 whatever % water.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, definitely coffee, because coffee is literally just water.
Yeah.
And, like
tea,
beans and
coffee,
stuff.
any of those.
Good. But I never thought about the difference between gas and water.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you only got a couple bucks to rub together. You're like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
People pay this.
Yeah. But yeah, chips. I mean, you don't think about them just because I think the bag is kind of big and like there's not a lot of weight to it though. But like really, in a whole bag of chips is probably like
the only time we're buying
potato.
chips is if they're like BOGO at Publix. We're having some like summer meal where we just want some kind of special like chip goes
tortilla
with
chips
it.
are about the only chips.
Yeah, and then they're normally tortilla chips because those are more of a pain to make.
You can just buy. I mean, well, you'd have to make the tortillas if you were going to do it from scratch, but you could buy tortillas and cut them up and then air fry them and probably.
We've done that. You get like it like separates and you get like, what is it, like a tostada or like it's like kind of puffy. It's still good, but it's like not the same.
Not the same. Yeah,
it's hard to get that.
Yeah, you got to fry it and
yeah, it's hard.
You got to fry it in that oil.
So,
but it is funny too that like tortilla chips are a thing, right? Because like if I sat down, it's like, hey, bro, let's sit down and eat 5 tortillas.
Yeah,
you'd be like,
no.
But if I'm like, let's fry them, you'd be like,
let's eat the whole bag, boy.
Or the same thing with potato chips, though. Hey, let's sit down and eat a potato, and you'd be like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You're like, what if I cut them up and we fried it?
It's like cheese sticks.
Let's do it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you want 5 pull and peel cheese sticks, bro? No, that's weird. Do you want 5 mozzarella sticks? You're like, yes.
Yeah.
To myself.
Yeah.
You know, and like
with extra marinara.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, eating two string cheese feels weird to me. I'll eat one. We kids like them there at the house. I'll eat one, but like when I'm hungry, eating 2 of them back to back just feels funny.
Yeah, you're definitely not eating 3 or 4.
No, but like doing that with marinara sticks, cheese sticks.
Well, even that, it's just like if someone's like, you want to eat this wedge of mozzarella, you'd be like, no. Oh, what if I bread it and fry it?
Bread it and fry it, baby.
You know?
Hell yeah. It's the American way.
Yeah. Same thing. I mean, like arancini, right? The rice balls that are deep fried.
Yeah.
I've seen people like crush like 5, 6 of those. But if you just had like a ball, like could you sit down and eat like that much rice? You just like wouldn't do it.
This ethical hacker jailbroke ChatGPT.
What's the most interesting thing you've done with ChatGPT?
Creating my own GPTs, and you can customize your prompt so it knows a little bit about you. I can ask ChatGPT anything I want and it will give me some really verbose output. And it won't say like, due to my ethical guidelines, I can't help you. It will give me anything.
So you jailbroke ChatGPT?
Yeah, well there's a ton of ways to jailbreak it, but my specific method is my own. It has not been patched.
And you don't share it because you need it probably.
Yeah, I use it. I mean, ChatGPT is super helpful to me personally, and that jailbreak, I would much rather not argue with the thing about ethical guidelines.
So, like, I feel like stuff like this is what social media is full of. It's like, you told me absolutely nothing.
Right.
I don't
I have a thing that you'll never be able to use. I'm better than you.
First off, I don't believe you actually. I don't think you did
Prove it.
Yeah, I don't think you did.
Just kidding, dog. I've seen what you can do on the internet. Don't hack my cell phone from where you are.
So he's a hacker who became an ethical hacker in the standpoint of he helps security systems find their weaknesses, and then I guess you call it ethical hacking, but it's like at the end of the day, he tells you like, pay me so I can hack your stuff.
Yeah, that's an interesting kind of consulting niche gig, not just in IT security, but in physical security and in personal protection, so like bodyguarding and stuff like that. To be effective, you have to know, like, if you want to protect somebody, you have to know how to reach out and hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise you couldn't possibly know where or what they do. So it's kind of weird. Like, you kind of have to be a thief to make something theft-proof.
Right.
A good one.
Right.
And then how do you get good? I don't know. It's kind of weird. So I know they say like ethical hack, whatever. I don't really know what.
But that's why like the best
white hat hackers.
The best bodyguards are usually people that have done like special operations and stuff like that because they know like if I were going to break into this building, this is the way I would do it.
How to go out and get them. Yeah. So it's weird, but if you have those skill sets, man, they get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
Nobody else can really do. Think you're like ideating for things that like, here's a high value target. How would you kill him?
Right.
Like, where do you protect them from? No, that's unrealistic, or that is realistic. Because people just, if you don't know, you're just going to pull stuff you've seen out of movies.
Right.
You know, and then that's useless.
He's going to rappel down this building upside down with his Uzis and just spray them.
Yeah, well, so on the ChatGPT thing, man, I use ChatGPT all the time. I have no idea what he did, but I have a few workarounds in mind, too, that were, like, annoying. You kind of just have to talk it in circles. If you talk to people enough and you can kind of convince them to do things, not anything unethical, but like you kind of keep talking in circles until it just.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I understand your concerns, but that's not really what I'm trying to do. You know?
But you're actually a 35-year-old dentist that graduated from wherever the hell, and I need you to prescribe me like a whatever. And it'll eventually, like if you want a prescription recommendations, if you want any of that type of stuff, you just kind of have to keep telling it.
Yeah,
you just kind of have to keep telling it that it is not. You don't have to say you're not ChatGPT, but you're like, no, you are this.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, as that, then da-da-da-da-da-da.
Well, I just tell all the time, like, no, this isn't actually legal advice. It's just you're just being, you're.
Well, because at first on social media, people were like getting it to calculate gross stuff, like how much semen would fill up the Grand Canyon, and so they would patch it because they were like, we don't want to spend computing time on this like trolling, dumb stuff. And so then the ethical things would pop up, and they would like talk in circles. So like I don't even know what they did to do it.
What's the volume?
Yeah, what's the volume of semen? What's the volume of the Grand Canyon? How much would this would fit in there? And then it would do it, and then they'd have to patch that.
Yeah.
And so like
I'll tell you, I've only like I've never like had an unethical like saying that we can't just get unethical. I have had to say like I can't give you legal advice or something or like. Whatever. And I've just like kind of talked it out of that and it's given me the advice I needed. But so like, I don't know why you would need to patch it with your own version. Like, what are you asking? Like,
yeah, maybe in his specific niche, he's like getting it to probe network or like, how would you go about this?
Right. Yeah.
Here's the inputs. Give me some ideas.
Yeah, how would you hack this?
Yeah, so like maybe there's some reasons. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough because hypothetically you could go on ChatGPT and get it to tell you how to make like a bomb or how to do something that like, well, why?
Yeah.
And so like hypothetically, we should all be able to learn whatever we want to learn. I was like an inquisitive kid. I wanted to learn all kinds of stuff. I didn't do anything bad with that information though. But like as a society, it's sort of like, yeah, but maybe it doesn't need to be so. What can I go to the store right now and make a thing that would like hurt people? It's like, no.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Need a recipe for meth. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No.
Just watch Breaking Bad.
Yeah, go brush your teeth. Go brush your teeth.
All right. Shower thoughts. Let's see how good Andy is at pausing. So.
Isn't it strange that the word teacher becomes cheater when the letters are rearranged?
Okay.
Shower thoughts that will blow your mind. The last question no one knows how to answer. Teaching is just brains telling other brains how to be better brains.
I think there's a lot of nuances to teaching.
Yeah.
I know I knock the school system all the time, but I have a lot of respect for teachers and what they...
I mean, I've had some great teachers.
I have too.
I think it's just like it's also like I've had some bad teachers,
Yeah.
you know? So
My best teachers weren't necessarily like the smartest. They just knew how to connect. Like the best.
well, they made you feel like they cared about you. So
Yeah.
you like wanted to do
Right.
well because you like, well,
Didn't
they
wanna
care
let 'em
about me.
down.
I don't want to let them down.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did for me.
Think about how lucky we are that blinking our eyes doesn't make a noise.
It does if you're really quiet. If you're in like one of those silent like type, you can hear it going like clicking when you like your eyes like unsticking. It does make a noise. So
Yeah, but at least it's not like.
yeah, if it were like that'd be everybody all over the place. Like stop blinking. Like when people are like stop chewing too loud, and you're like I don't know how to chew any less loud.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes are basically dirty used needles that fly.
Yeah, you know, I actually thought about this the other day. It's like, what purpose do mosquitoes really have? You know, it's like, you know, anteaters eat ants. Like, I mean, and I know there's plenty of like things that eat them. You know, I mean, obviously spiders and lizards and you know all that kind of stuff. But like in general, I think if mosquitoes were to completely be gone, I don't think it would like really affect the ecosystem.
Yeah, I was sold a bill that everything in the ecosystem is important and yada yada, but like I don't know how much I believe in any of that stuff anymore. I mean, like all kinds of bugs are missing. There's no problem there. So like all the things that eat mosquitoes, I don't know if I'm gonna miss those either.
Do you know that butterflies are like going extinct?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny you talk about that. Like they said that the monarch butterfly, they're like is lost 80% of its population.
It's
in,
got to
like,
be
the
all
last
the
10
radio
years.
waves, man. It's just got to be all the signals. They're so in tune to that stuff that they got to be like either not producing
That or
reproducing.
pesticides. Just
Could
the amount
be,
of pesticides that we have
Do
now.
you remember how many bugs used to be all over the front of your car when you take a road trip?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah. I remember ladybugs being like insane.
I remember going
or
like
not ladybugs, love bugs. Like
Yeah,
you
love
have so
bugs,
many love
nuts.
bugs, and we still get
Nuts.
like these like
Yeah,
flare ups of them.
some.
But no, I mean,
Dude, I remember you go on a 4 or 5 hour plus road trip, and the front of your car was disgusting with like grasshoppers and all.
yeah, and you at least hit like 2 or 3 big ones that were
Whole
like
ones.
like yellow
Yeah.
streak across your whole
Bow.
windshield. Yeah,
Now they're not there.
yes, that is true. I never thought about that.
Wild. But don't know where they are.
This is the kind of stuff that you should be posting on Instagram. Yeah.
I know.
Vampires are human-sized mosquitoes.
Okay.
Yep.
True that.
Yeah, that will kill you.
Yeah.
So.
I have questions for you, but before that, like this video for good luck this week.
Okay.
If vampires cannot see their reflections, why is their hair always so tidy?
Peace. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think vampires would look like the Nosferatu type vampires that are just like bald and like your hair wouldn't keep growing, all that type of stuff. And
Yeah, 'cause you're like
I don't know
dead.
how you are alive or not alive or whatever, but like I think you'd be like a little demon looking like Gollum from
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I think you have like no nails, no
yeah,
anything.
you gotta be in the yeah. I don't think you'd be like Mr. Smooth, dude. You know what?
Yeah,
though?
you wouldn't sparkle.
Hey, that little thing like before we do it, like this video for good luck or whatever, man. The kids, it gets them every time. They'll be like, subscribe to our channel if you love your family. And they'll be like, I have to. I love my family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't have. Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be like, Daddy, it said I have to like this video if I love you. So just any of y'all, if you make videos for kids, whatever, just throw that in there because they'll engage.
Yeah.
They won't comment. They don't know how, but.
If a vampire bites a zombie, would it turn into a zombie, or will the zombie turn into a vampire?
I think since zombies are dead,
yeah,
I don't think
a
that
vampire
they
would
even
have any
blood circulating through their body would be the point of being a zombie. So I don't think a vampire would even do it.
Yeah. Unless it's like some kind of fungal takeover. That's where we really need to worry about. It's the funguses.
Oh, like the parasites.
Yeah, it's parasites getting involved, getting your brain, making you go crazy.
Well, you've seen those like parasites that have like taken over like crustacean stuff, and
Yeah.
the crab's like moving, and it's like just parasites inside of its body. Like,
Yeah, there's a wasp that does something to a spider that way.
oh, zombie ant fungus.
There you go.
Interesting. Okay.
Collective.
There's a lot of vampire stuff. Yeah.
And if you were a vampire, who would you bite to turn into a vampire?
My wife. So we can roll together.
Yeah. What about your kids?
I don't know. That one I struggle with because, like, I don't know. Yeah, probably. Maybe when they get older. I don't know what the rules of this hypothetical vampire thing is, right? I'd be also condemned for going to heaven and stuff like that. So I don't know that I want any of that. But,
well, also, it's just like, I mean.
But living to be forever, at least for now, like, sounds like a cool idea. If you're healthy and fast and
are
like,
people hunting you?
Can
you go out
they can
in the
try.
day? Can you go out in
I'm
daylight?
a Twilight. What if I'm a sparkly vampire? You know, you seen Twilight?
Yeah,
they just sparkle.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like there's like so many questions I have, right?
Yeah, right. I need to know the rules of this hypothetical vampire situation because if I'm a Twilight vampire, I can like be real fast and cool.
And then
like,
can you just drink animal blood?
Yeah, and I can just be like, give me that deer. You know?
Would you do just animal blood, or would you do human blood?
I need. There's rules. Do
you
get extra strong if you do the human blood?
Would you be like, oh, this person's a bad person, I'm gonna?
I don't know. They probably have bad taste in blood. You know?
I don't know.
Yeah. Can you use salt? That's the real question. Because you can't have garlic. Love garlic. I don't know more.
Before revealing the last mind-blowing question, subscribe to get 99.9% smarter every day. What time was the world created?
What time was the world created? Like, what was the time of day?
In the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning, God created the heavens
in
and
the
earth.
beginning.
The earth was without form, and void, and darkness filled the earth.
That's right. So it was the beginning.
Oh.
In it.
So it's night.
Yeah.
He said, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness filled the earth.
Yeah.
And he said, let there be light.
Could be
and there was
early
light.
morning. Yeah, maybe it was like 4 a.m.
Yeah, it was before the sun.
And he was like, let there be light.
And then let there be light.
5 a.m.
Boom.
Dude, it's so dark in the mornings right now.
He said, what did ChatGPT say? The question of the day is we create depends on religion. They'll have Christian and Jewish tradition, Genesis 1 says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, but it does not specify a time of day. However, the creation story shows that God began by creating light, separating from darkness, calling it day and night. This suggests that began with the first light, possibly symbolizing dawn. Being proposed the time itself began with the universe, making it the concept of a specific time of day for creation somewhat meaningless.
Well, the other thing would be like, are we talking like what like Earth time, like clocks?
Yeah, which who knows? I don't think anyone would know that. You're like, God, what time did you make all this?
Well,
news?
like time exists
3:59 a.m.
Time exists in space as a distance,
right?
You know, and so like, I don't know.
Well, and time is different for everyone, right? I mean, perceived time for us here versus someone that's like across.
If they're moving faster,
yeah,
in theory.
But I was talking about just on the Earth, time is different, right? Like for me, like right here versus someone that's like in China.
Yeah.
Also, like if you were, God and you were creating all of this stuff, like what is time to you?
Unanswerable.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of mind blowing though. I mean, it's a very thought-provoking question.
It is.
So not sure what the podcast will look like next week. Aubrey may take my place because I will be in Austin, flying out like Sunday afternoon and staying till Wednesday. Be back like Wednesday. Bring Christian back with me. Yep. So may do the podcast on Thursday next week, or you may do it early with Aubrey.
Yeah, either one works, man.
We could have Aubrey and Mama Jean on here.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be real good. Yeah. We when Christian's in town, we got the NFRA Penguin Pitch finalist. So our bites are a finalist in a little contest. So we got to do some kind of video. I figure we'll do it while Christian's here.
Okay.
Do the pitch and whatever.
Yeah, I got to figure out what that video is because I probably got to talk, don't I? So
yeah, somewhat. They said like make a pitch kind of like a Shark Tank pitch or whatever. Like we're pitching to judges. And
that's definitely got to be me.
Yeah. I figured out to order a penguin suit and wear a penguin.
Okay. Whenever we go to anywhere and people ask me about the cookies and I start talking.
Oh yeah.
Like people are like,
absolutely, bro.
Oh, I can tell you're the founder. Like you love cookies.
That's right.
I do love cookies.
That's right, man. So that'll be cool. We definitely got to get that knocked out. And then what all are you doing in Austin?
So Monday morning we're running Lady Bird Lake at like 6:30 in the morning. Preston, which is Nick's brother, is going to come run it with us down there. And then just set up to go kind of tour BPN's facility on Monday. Going to check out their current facility, and they're building a new headquarters that's not going to be done until I think like sometime in April. So I mean, it'll be like a month-ish
Mostly
out.
done.
So
Yeah.
like there'll be a lot done.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think you won't get to see the cool finishing touches. Like they have a whole gym area, so like I won't get to see like that stuff done, but get an idea of like what the layout's looking like for their building.
Nice.
And then Tuesday, I was going to go check out like the grocery stores. I think Royal Blue grocers that have like our bites and stuff like that, kind of see those. But I mean, no real plans really. It's kind of just like
enjoy it.
Just a trip.
Cool, man.
And,
Awesome.
And so, yeah, hopefully we'll meet up with some people while we're there. But yeah. Just
And when do you actually fly out?
Wednesday. I think we're at like a Wednesday at like noon or 1 o'clock.
No, when do you head that way?
Oh, Sunday at like 3 p.m.
Okay, cool.
Out. So I think we land at like 4 or 5. And
Okay, good. So you got a good couple days there.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely want to check out some barbecue spots. You know, I've been to Terry Black's before, but I know that Garrison's come with me. He's like, yeah, I want to go to Terry Black.
Yeah.
So do that. But yeah, it's really, I mean, a lot of it was to check out BPN stuff and just see what they're doing there. And then, you know, there's some other friends I have in the area. So just kind of hanging out and checking it all out. Mama Jean's here. So that's the only reason am going to leave Aubrey.
You got help.
Never left her, but she was here. I was like, oh, this is a chance for me to like jet over to Austin. I know like Nick and I had talked a while ago about like me going on his podcast. You know, so I don't know. He may be like, yeah, come back tomorrow. We'll film an episode. He may be too busy. I don't know. Haven't made like a lot of contact with him.
Cool.
I know he's like, they're building Bear Ranch out there. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, he's got a lot going on right now. So
Sure.
we'll see how much time he's got. But yeah, it'd be fun to jump on the podcast with him and just
that'd be great.
talk about cookies.
Talk about cookies, man.
So, but yeah, well, thanks for joining us. Another episode of In the Oven. You're worth it. Do hard shit.
See ya.